Sanders, Harris seek Hispanic votes at California Forum. Pasadena, California. Bernie Sanders. As the nation's most populous state, California holds a trove of 2020 delegates that are being eagerly sought by Democratic presidential rivals. The appearance of Harris elicited a burst of applause when she told the group that she was a proud daughter of immigrants from India and Jamaica, then promised that, if elected, she would work for comprehensive immigration reform in her first 100 days in office. She also promised to end the hate. Sanders took the stage to chants of Bernie. If elected, we Americans, he said, want immigration reform and a path to citizenship for the millions of people who entered the U.S. illegally. He promised to bring an administration to Washington that represents. The Hispanic vote has become increasingly important in strongly Democratic California, particularly in a Democratic presidential primary. California was once a reliably Republican state in presidential elections, but a surge in immigrants transformed the state and its voting patterns. The number of the last Republican to carry the state in a presidential election was George H.W. Bush. The candidates each tacked to similar themes, including criticizing the Trump administration's immigration policies and enacting comprehensive reform. However, candidates can expect a skeptical look from many voters, Latino and otherwise, who have heard promises from both parties for years about immigration reform that never arrived. When asked how she would assure Hispanics that she wasn't another candidate with an empty promise, Harris told reporters, Sanders, too, said he would introduce a comprehensive immigration plan shortly after taking office. He also said, Lisa Luthor, who attended a raucous Sanders rally earlier in the day at a nearby convention center, said she was confident the senator could deliver on immigration reform when other Democrats have failed. Luthor, who won, Sanders will. Julian Castro, a former Obama administration housing secretary, spoke to the crowd about his Mexican heritage and argued that new immigrants are necessary to maintain economic vitality. That's especially if Castro is one of two candidates in the crowded Democratic field that have released detailed, written policies addressing the future of the immigration system, as the issue has been overshadowed on the campaign trail by health care, gun violence, and reproductive rights. Democratic hopeful Jay Inslee, who has pledged to make combating climate change the top national priority, faulted Trump for ignoring a global warming crisis that is influencing immigration and creating climate. The Trump administration has proposed its own overhaul that would bolster border security while creating a merit. The forum was sponsored by the groups Firm Action, Community Change Action and CHIRLA Action Fund.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.